Okay, we're live. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank God you're not standing so close to me. So, Jackie, this is what I want to do. I want to make matching face masks and then give it to you as a gift on the show and then hand it to you, but I've already mailed it to you. You see what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
I love it.
And then you can be like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And just think
I
it and
can't
put it
believe
on
how
your face.
talented you are, Renee. I have to say, you do a lot.
I do a lot. And isn't it cool that I know it's a bra, but you'll thank me for it. It's like a sports stretchy, like, look, wait, I'm not doing it right. It's like
I'm
really
so
elasticy and breathable.
excited. I'm so excited. It's the best thing on the planet.
I'm so excited for you too.
Thank you. You're so
I guess
talented.
thanks. You like it? Look how cool this is.
I love it. You're so good. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
How's your life?
How did you get so talented?
I don't know. I think God and
Bravo,
sobriety.
bravo. True.
I will have 7 years sober on Friday.
Congratulations. I gotta
I mean, there's no fronts. I still gotta make it to Friday, but I'm just saying.
Right. But when people do that, I'm just like, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, you want to be excited for it.
Totally. And like, I kind of feel like I'm probably not going to check out of life for the next 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen.
It definitely could happen. Yeah. It's interesting with that stuff because I'm like, it's something really fun to look forward to and to be proud of. So to be like, oh God.
I know, like I could derail my life the next 3 days.
I think that's not a thought, but it's like that fine line in life too. That line of, if you're like, I got this to life is like, let me give you this. Because when you do that, it depends on where you are. If you're right sized, like, I got this, but keeping yourself level and that, like, here it is, like not thinking that you're better than everybody else, but being like, I got this and I love everybody else. And there's a lot of people out there that also got this, like, not to be like, I got this, other people are less than. That's when the universe is like, get ready to hate yourself.
Get ready. Yeah. For me, I've learned that confidence is not about being the best in the room. It's not comparing yourself to anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not needing to do that.
It changes everything, like self-validating instead of looking outside yourself for validation.
Totally. Did I ever tell you about this self-realization meditation retreat I did in Maui? And
what?
It was like it was the most amazing things. It was a 10-day silent retreat, but then it culminated in finally being able to talk, which was so weird for someone like me, like to not hear my own voice for 10 days. I was like, what the fuck? But it was so important because you have no idea what we miss, man, by just talking all the time. And so to not even be able to like utter anything for 10 days was sort of magical. But at the very end, we kind of like shared our experience, and it was a bunch of artistic people, and there was this real like competitive energy in the room, and it was weird. And I remember the shaman stopped all of us in the middle of our meditation circle and just made us take the deepest. She was like, I want all of us to sit and take the deepest diaphragmatic breath and breathe in as much oxygen as we can, all sitting in a circle. And so we took these big deep breaths and exhaled to our fullest. And then when we all came out of the meditation, she said, now, did anybody feel when you took your deepest, fullest breath that you were taking away from anybody else in the room? And I loved it. And it like changed how I approached my career and everything else I did. Like, I get to take my deepest, fullest breath, and it doesn't take away from yours. Like, there is enough for all of us to take our deepest, fullest breath.
I love that. It's so good.
It really changed me.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to keep that forever. Also, when we take a deep breath, it's when we are our most authentic selves. Like people, like, okay, so obviously being an alcoholic, there are times that I was easily frustrated. And people would say,
and now it's over.
Yeah. And people would be like, take a deep breath. And I remember exactly one girl pouring me a glass of water and being like, here, take a sip of this and, take a deep breath. And I took it, threw it against the wall. And I never understood that, take a deep breath. And then when I found that, like, that it's your most authentic self, I was just like, oh, now I'm doing it. And now with that too, because I know my most authentic self is right-sized, is beauty, is truth, is not egocentric. So, and that coupled with I'm not taking it from everybody else, being my authentic self, and won't take from other people.
Definitely. If not, it'll inspire or contribute to them feeling like they have permission to shine their own light. And, you know, it's like, we don't help humanity by dimming our light. You know what I mean? Like, there's a famous Marianne
Williams quote,
something to that fact. Like, I'm butchering it, but it's in that same template.
Right.
Like, we're not, by not like shining our lights, we're not inspiring or like enlightening the world by protecting other people's insecurities. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, I know the quote though. Yeah, and Nelson Mandela used it.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's kind of hot.
Yeah. It's such a good quote. It changes
my
everything.
New favorite quote. Did you see my Instagram post? Because it's like my new. Yesterday was my 10-year anniversary of completing my first triathlon, which like really changed my life. Like, it's just changed how I lived forever. And I've done 6 different tries since then and 2 marathons. And like, I changed my lifestyle. Like, I was a raging addict that like never took care of myself. And like, that was kind of when I began to check into my life and like honor myself, you know, but I have to read you my.
Yeah.
It is. My favorite quote. It's actually a Keanu Reeves quote.
I just watched a documentary on him. It's so funny.
I want to, because I love his quotes. And
he's so good.
Okay, my new favorite quote. The reason people awaken is because they have finally stopped agreeing to the things that insult their soul.
I love it.
How good is that? Like, it pertains to everything. And for me, like, the post had to do with my triathlons, but my sobriety, my like how I show up for my career. And I also took a huge leap of faith this week too, because the universe is so showing up, but I turned in my car because I've been renting a car, but I haven't like financed a vehicle. It's like a whole backstory of like, I was in this debt negotiation plan, not debt consolidation or bankruptcy, but like a couple of years ago, I actually went to court and negotiated with lawyers to like be forgiven a chunk of my debt. But part of the arrangement was because they were forgiving me a bunch of unsecured debt that I couldn't apply for more credit. I couldn't finance a loan. I couldn't get a mortgage. It's part of the agreement. So it wasn't even that I wasn't eligible to do it. It was just like I'd be in violation of my contract or whatever. So when I moved to LA, I couldn't actually finance a vehicle until August of this year was the end of my 2-year cycle of paying off this debt. So like, I'm still in a repayment plan for it, but the arrangement's done. But I had $34,000 of credit card debt, just credit card debt, not my regular debt and my loans. And it was like swallowing me whole. And I only had to pay back $17,000 of it. They forgave me like half through this program. So debt that I wasn't going to pay off until I was like 60 based on how I was paying it back with my minimums, I now will have completely paid off by the time I'm 41. I will be debt free at 41.
Congratulations, you angel.
Thank you. But my point in sharing this is that like, this was part of my like, I've been in this survival hustle where I've never been able to pursue my art full time. And I'm like, how can I free myself? And like, this was one of the avenues in which I'm like, I have to get a hold of this debt. So I'm not working all these survival jobs to chase $34,000 of unsecured debt that I'm going to have for another 20 years, you know? And, but in that, like, I've had to rent a car this time that I've been in LA, and it's like an arm and a leg. It's like $800 a month to rent this car.
Come on.
It's $200 a week. Yeah. And so I've been like Postmating and Instacarting when I'm not at my Starbucks job to basically pay for the vehicle or whatever. And I was like, I really want to focus on this show. And then I have this new thing going on in the Dive app. And I've been very blessed that I'm booking a lot of Pride Comedy Bingo shows for colleges. And like, I'm trying to bring some creative stuff to the floor. And like my other co-host and I want to do this video where we're in drag. That's a promo for the show. And all this stuff requires creative energy, right? And like, I don't have the time. So I decided to turn in my car this week. I'm like, I'm done. Like it's quarantine. I don't have to go very far. My Starbucks is right up the street, just temporarily.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn it over to God and give the car for right now. Worst case scenario, I can get back into a rental tomorrow. I can whatever.
Right.
But I'm like, my being creative is more important to me than like chasing this car that I don't feel like I really, really need right now.
Right.
And that I feel like I'm not, like God has been saying to me, Renee, like use the quarantine, utilize it.
Yeah.
You don't need a car right now because no one's going anywhere. Like, and I've not been listening to this voice for 6 months.
Also, I bet there's a lot of people that don't need to work right now that would rent you their car for really cheap.
Oh my gosh. So Jackie, that is absolutely amazing that you said that, because this is the tail end of the story. So I give it over and I turn it over and I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to give up my car and like, we'll see what happens. And then, so Sandra Valls calls and I sent her like this really cool lapis tower for her birthday that, because the lapis crystal, protects our throat chakra and how we communicate. We're all communicators. And so I had it blessed and all stuff. So whatever, she received that today. And so we're chit chatting. She's like, how are things going? And I'm like, and I tell her the story of turning.
I better get that for my birthday too.
Okay. It's really great. I usually wear lapis around my neck, but I don't.
I never heard of it. Lapis?
Lapis, it's a crystal that it's a blue crystal. And this one right here is lapis.
I better get one too. I'll just get one.
I'm like obsessed with crystals and like I meditate with them. And so I really think like stones in the earth. I got this when I went to Maui. That's kind of how I got into it.
Beautiful.
Like, it really helps center me because like these rocks come from the earth. And like, I think that's, I don't know. It's amazing to have a relationship with that energy.
The earth is everything. It grounds us.
Totally. Okay, so you want to know the end of the story?
Yes,
Sandra calls me today, and we're just talking about her birthday present. And apparently, like a few weeks ago, since she's been in Austin this whole time, and then she's going to New York through like next year. And I don't know if I should make that announcement. Sorry, Sandra. At any rate, she's not going to be in LA for a really long time. She has a car that's been her friend. Anne has been storing it in her driveway and it's just sitting idly. And like every couple of weeks, Anne's trying to start the car. And so Anne had called Sandra and is like, what are you doing with your car? Like it's taking up space. Like, what are we doing? And so she'd had this conversation unbeknownst to me. And she's like, Renee, do you want to rent my car that's been sitting here? And I'm in Austin, Texas. And my old roommate is like annoyed that she's storing it at her house. And I'm like, wait, really? Like for real? With no rental agreement, just friend to friend. So tomorrow I'm picking up Sandra's car in Altadena because she's in Austin, Texas. And she's like tell me that's not God.
That's great. Like you didn't even have to look for that solution. The solution came to you.
I mean, how amazing that is. Just because like I had this deep knowing that I was just supposed to turn in my car. I don't know why.
But you were so sweet sending her the gift.
Yeah, because that was her why for calling me. And it was like, you never know how the universe.
It's so beautiful. It's trusting your inner guidance is everything.
Totally.
Because you could have overthought that forever and been like, what do you think I should do with the car? And you were just like, listen, like nobody knows. Your inner guidance knows. So then you went with it. I love it. I'm so excited for you.
Isn't that the coolest story? So I'm just in this like Zen mode where I really like want to create. And I'm just like, I'm realizing that these opportunities are coming to me, but I'm not like present to do the work. And I really want to align to be able to do it. Like my desire is there, but it's just like, I got to make the rest of my life, I just have to streamline. And Starbucks is great for me. Like I need it, especially as a manager. I've been there for 16 years. I make a living wage there. I have all of my insurance. I have a 401k. I don't feel this need to release Starbucks. Like it's given me a lot of like adult grounding.
But not the urgency to be doing the other cars.
Yeah, that was the thing is like, so I'm only at Starbucks 25 hours a week. And like that.
Perfect.
And I'm okay. Like, and it pays my bills and you know what I mean? But it doesn't eat me whole. It's like, it still gives me enough where I can have my insurance and my 401k and my stocks. And like, I actually enjoy my job too. And like, there have been times where I've like lied for no reason. Just to be like, no, I hate my Starbucks job. And the truth is like, I actually like it. Like,
I love that.
I actually like managing my store. It's fun.
The best time of my life was when I was a manager of a coffee shop. I had so much fun there. because
Yeah.
it's not as stressful as waiting tables or bartending.
Agreed.
And people are creative that work there. And yeah, it's not as stressful because your relationship with them behind the counter is a lot different than waiting on them.
Yeah.
It's not as serious.
And not having like a supervisor on top of me like makes me feel
Yeah.
free to be able to to run my own floor, because it was a little bit more stressful when I was a barista and I had to, I
was the manager too, so I could do whatever I wanted.
I mean, I just really like that. Although I have moments where it's like my team gets frustrated and they're like, "We need you on the floor," and I'm like, "All right, like go be a barista, Renee." Sometimes you gotta sling a latte.
Yeah. But congratulations, I love it.
Thank you. I know this ended up being like such a serious whatever, but
no, it's good.
Serious.
I feel like right now we need so much positivity. It's not even funny. Like, well, a friend of mine, we were talking yesterday, and he was feeling really happy, and a friend of his just called and dumped on him. And then the same thing happened to me. I was so happy yesterday, and my friend called. It's such a fine line of I want to be there for my friend to help her. Like, she asked me, can you help me be grateful right now? So I gave her all different things. Like, you can care about everything, but not carry it. You can, think about how things could be worse and then go from there and be grateful for the things that you do have and think, if I'm not grateful for things, I'm going to lose them. I mean, she couldn't do it. And she was just so miserable, and it brought me down. But that's my responsibility to keep myself up. It really is. Nobody can make me feel down. So, and I don't want to not be friends with her. I love her to death. So that's not an option for me. But it's interesting. Like, I want to talk to high vibrating people. It's really important right now for us to stay in contact with high vibrating people and people who believe in their higher power, people who rely on their higher power. Because we all that's the only thing right now that's bigger than our government right now is our higher power. And when you can see that, when you get really frustrated about the horrible, horrendous things that are going on in the world, and then you could be like, but my higher power is stronger than that. It's so important. It's so important.
I know what another one of my favorite quotes are that most people go to God with their big problems, and I go to my problems with my big God.
Yeah, I love it. It's true.
And I've been through some negativity too. Like, I had a thing with my housemate the other day, and it was like, it was my shit. Like, it was totally a projection. She's unemployed right now, and like, I haven't seen her working a lot, and I'm starting to like get in her lane, and I'm like taking her inventory, and I'm just like having all these judgments, and I'm just like I don't know what her backstory is. And for 6 months since I've lived here, I've noticed it, and it's just rolled right off of me. But like the last month, because I've been struggling financially and not knowing what to do with the car, and I like see myself in this hustle, and then like I just witness her not doing anything in my head, that like I'm starting to feel frustrated and
take it out on her,
whatever. Yeah. And so like I've been an observer of that, because I haven't really been able to like transmute it. And like yesterday she brought it up to me because I made like this shitty comment on her Instagram, and I like didn't even realize how insensitive it was. Like, I have moments where I'm not my highest self. Like, look, I'm no enlightened master. I'm still on my journey.
No human can be. No human can be.
But she basically was at this place called like Pyramid Lake, and it's a beautiful photo, but she's like on her back in the water, in the open water. And her post is like social distancing at its best. And it's just her in the open water. It's actually a beautiful post. But I comment like, I wish I had your life.
Yeah.
It was bad. But then like I almost couldn't undo it because there were too many responses before I went to go edit it, that it like almost didn't work to take it back at that point. And like, so when I got home, like it caused this thing, and I had to give her an immediate amends. Like, it was a shitty moment for me. But like, I try to be gentle on myself. Like, I'm imperfect, and I'm like, I catch myself in that negative space. And I went to bed that night, and I was really upset. Like, I was disappointed in myself. And I'm like, this is not how you show up, Renee. Like, why did, like my behavior was just so disappointing. But then
it's really not that bad.
I know it's not that bad, but like, I'm not the asshole. Like, I really
Right.
try to not be a dick, and I like totally pulled my dick card.
Yeah. But I feel like where you were bad is thinking that your life wasn't good in a way, or adjusting to yourself to making that be your life.
Yeah.
But it's really like I wish I had your faith in a way. To know that the world, that you're still going to be taken care of if you take time off to go lay in a lake.
Totally.
But I can say that, but I'm exactly like you. Like, I do not take a break. I'm just like, go, 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 go. Yeah. And I feel like maybe it might be like a guilt for wasting so much time putting fun, our old definition of fun, before working.
Definitely. Like, I've just been going through this like existential crisis recently where with all of my financial stuff, like I've realized that no matter what financial circumstance I'm in, whether I have no money or abundance, because I've had abundant periods in my life, and some of them have come from my art. Other times when I was a full-time nanny, like I was almost making six figures. And like, so I've had, and I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying like, I've had times in my life where it's like this financial hustle, like my limited thinking is that if I sacrifice my art, I can be abundant and have everything. But then like my soul doesn't feel satisfied. And when I pursue my art and I take this leap of faith, then I financially struggle. And that's like my formula in life. And that's like it's not serving me, that belief system at all. And so like, I'm trying to get over that. But what I'm realizing is that no matter how much money I have, I seem to live the same way. And it's like, I'm realizing it's my consciousness.
Same. We're like talking to ourselves right now. I'm the same exact way. Like, I thought, because I'm living the same way that I did when I drank. No, I've gotten a lot better, I have to say. But I thought like all the money that I saved from alcohol, but let's face facts. Somebody didn't pay for her drinks. But
I dated the dealer.
But yeah, it's a self-deprivation.
Totally.
It's not thinking that it's putting higher power into your art.
Definitely. And that's what I'm hungry to do. And I just have to do it.
That's what I'm learning from the quarantine. Because before it would be like, I would wake up and be like, do my higher power work. And then be like, okay, now I'm going to work. But now it's like keeping it with me. Like my higher power comes through my art, which is to a fault in a way. Like my friends are like, you stop talking about like, it's just like
I love that we talk about this all day. Do you know what my prayer is before I do comedy? Before I ever go on a stage, I always say, use me, God, so I may know the joy of being used by you.
I love. So that's what's so great about, higher power brought us together, because it's what I want to talk about all the time. Like, I feel like I'm constantly like, it's like when I was a kid, like being with my mother, like I wanted her to see me in a way that I couldn't be seen by her. Mm-hmm. And now I'm fine with that. Like, she can project anything she wants. Like, I love her regardless, because I've cleaned my side of the street.
Right.
But like, it's the same thing with the stuff that we're talking about, like with the rest of the world, because I want them to be like, you got to see this. You got to understand like what, like, so it's heaven for me to talk about this stuff with you. But it's heaven. It's heaven. And I think it's
so funny because I had therapy this morning, and then I was making a joke to my therapist when I got off the phone. I'm like, thanks for therapy. And then I have my second session of therapy with Jackie today at 3. Because that's like, it's like a different Tuesday. Because Tuesday, it's always Tuesdays. Like, I have therapy at Tuesdays at 12:30, and then I have this right after. And I'm like, it's just like a day of self-alignment.
It's so good. It's so good. It's my favorite stuff. But yeah, like I put it into stand-up now. Like, it's not as fun for me to talk about stuff that doesn't move the world forward. But I have a dark joke right now that everybody hates. No, people.
Oh, I love it. I do too. Let's share. You go
People
first.
that get it, love it. People that don't get it, whatever, they can screw themselves. But so anyway, I'll tell you the joke. I'm like, so we know now that people aren't born racist, but are they still being born deformed? Like, it's a joke about racist or deformed.
Yes, I love it.
But so many people are like, that's terrible, Jackie. I'm like, no, it's brilliant, you idiot.
It's totally brilliant.
But like, that's such a dark joke, but it does bring things forward.
And it's honest. And it's like, I think we got to be talking about it. I did a joke for an H. I think I may have told you this for an H&I panel, because I do some of this, like, yeah.
Yeah, like, I do H&I too. Yeah.
And I was doing a male prison, and it was like all the white men, the white men scare the shit out of me. And I'm like, I realized why white men in prison scare me, because you know for sure that they actually did it.
Did you say that?
Yes, that was my joke. They're like, that's horrible. And I'm like, that speaks to racism. I see a black guy and I'm like, I don't know. They may not have done it because they're black. And
yeah.
they're way over.
Also, they may not have had any choice.
Yeah, but I'm like,
everybody would have
white boy. Like when I see like a svelte, pretty white boy in prison for murder, I'm like, fuck, they did it.
They did it.
They did it.
They did it. They say that if there's a homeless white male, he's more like, if they're not like a drug addict or schizophrenic, they 1000% are pedophiles. That's why they can't get a job. Like that's not the truth with women or black men.
That's why I think white men are so much scarier. Like black men don't shoot up schools of children. I'm sorry. Yeah, they don't. Never. It's always like personal. You know what I mean? It's like related to their family or their crew or like whatever. Like they're not psycho fucking paths.
Yeah, black men aren't sociopaths. We're saying it right here.
It's personal. And like I almost respect it a little bit more when it's personal.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna kill a whole like society of people for no reason.
Yeah. That's a great point. That all the school shootings have been. What a world we live in.
All like angsty white men.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, can you tweet that and I'll retweet it?
You want to tweet it? I'll tweet it right now.
Yeah.
Wait, what do I say?
Just say no, school shooters are, there's never a black school shooter. Wait, we can make it funnier.
We can totally make it funnier.
Do you ever notice there's never a black school shooter? Show me a black school shooter and I'll show you a made-up character. An imaginary character. Black school shooters don't exist. We're live. All right, I'll keep talking to the audience.
I'm tweeting.
I didn't mean now, but I like that. I like your maybe this is why you get stuff done. Like, all right, I want to wait while you do that. I want to compliment you. Renee is yeah. You should tweet more often.
Yeah.
Renee is so busy and gets so much done. Ooh, this is what I want to say. No more beating yourself up. I just bought a bell for myself.
A bell?
A hotel bell. So every time I go to beat myself up, I hit the bell, like an improv. Like in improv, how they're like new choice. Because I heard that your first thought has no power, because thoughts become things, right? So I heard that our first thought, it has no power. It's the second thought that has the power. So if my first thought's bad, I got to slam the bell and be like, new thought, new choice.
I'm definitely going to get one of those.
Yeah. Is that fun? So, and also like, I'll just find myself thinking, going down, like sometimes I don't catch it, but I feel like just, it's how you teach dogs. But so I think hearing the bell, like how many times I ring the bell, like just like doing our 10 step at the end of the day, when I don't do a 10 step for a long time, all of a sudden I have a lot of 10 step action. And people that don't know 10 steps, we're saying, where was I resentful today? Where was I self-seeking? Where did I have self-pity? So if I get on that and do it every day, at the end of the day, I don't have them. I'm just like, none. So I feel like if I'm doing that throughout the day, I will be more apt to like go through, like if the goal is to go through a day without ringing the bell, because self-talk is the most important thing.
I really, really love it, that idea. Like I need these visual things. Like I made this like monster character of my internal critic. Like I actually drew a cartoon, like a really ugly looking cartoon. And so it was fun because it was an artistic exercise for me. And I got to like get out the little girl in me used to draw and like, and like, that was my internal critic. And I thought like, I would never hang out with this person or like this character. And it was kind of like, what is that stick character that travels the world? That's like a thing.
Oh yeah.
I used to literally put this on like a huge stick, my internal critic, and be like, I don't even want to hang out with you today. And it like creating a visual where I removed it from me. Like honestly, if you think about the shit that your internal critic says, like you're not talented, you're not gifted, you're ugly, like no one wants to talk to you, you're not lovable. Like if somebody in real life talked to you like that, Jackie, you'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not hanging out with you. But because that voice is like, sounds like us, we think we need to listen to it, you know? And it's crazy. I used to make a stand-up joke that I wanted like my internal critic to be like an angry Irishman or something, like where it was really distinct. So I wouldn't be confused, or like my disease, like my addiction.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be so much easier to be like, oh, it's that guy again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ugly. What, you don't trust me, you little piece of shit? Like if it just sounded like that.
That's really funny. That's really funny because I made mine like a mobster. Like not for nothing, Jackie. You're, you know, but like you gotta use guys you don't even know. But
use guys. You got a guy. Everybody's got
Jackie,
a guy.
what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Fanabla. What the hell over here? But the thing is, that doesn't work unless we do it out loud, because our it completely does work, but we have to do it out loud because our inner dialogue sounds like us.
Totally.
We have to decipher it.
People think we were crazy. I do remember there were times where I've listened to homeless people and I realized that, wait a minute, they're not crazier than us. They're just saying this shit out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all the stuff we're thinking about all the time. And I'm like, oh.
I actually told my sponsees, like when they first get sober, I'm like, your thoughts are constantly telling you fucked up shit. I'm like, if you have to say something out loud, because you'll be like, oh, I'm like, answer your thoughts out loud because you'll realize that it's all inner dialogue crap. That's not even real. And they're like, it really works. Because you're breaking that, because your inner thing is just like ruminating. And then when you say something out loud, you're like, oh, wait, no, it's not even true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why writing works too.
Totally. Putting pen to paper and like holding yourself back. I've been doing the artist's way, and it's like after 8 weeks, you're supposed to read back your morning pages. And I'm like weirdly nervous because I'm like, what did I write 8 weeks ago? And like, do I believe any of that? And like, I'm scared because then you can't be in denial if you like go back to pen to paper and you're like, whoa.
I love that.
But I need to do it as an extra. Look at us. We've already been gone 33 minutes because we were just so into it today.
Our powers age. Jesus.
I know, right? Year of Jesus. We took the year of 33333. It was right when I all threes.
It's all magic.
I should have screenshot it. I feel like this was a really good episode. Like I
feel like it's my favorite.
Me too. I think we should repost it and do all kinds of fun.
Yeah, let's do fun stuff with it.
I wanted to explore with this episode too, because I was talking to Sandra last week about getting this on Facebook, and so she's going to help me. I talked to that guy, and the template that he gave me, it didn't work. Like I tried to practice it by just StreamYarding myself to promote my Dive app, and it was not successful. And I thought it was. I did the same thing where I did a whole broadcast on Dive and it didn't post on Facebook. So whatever I'm doing, I'm not getting correct. But she does her show through StreamYard every single week that goes on Facebook. So I feel like it would be better if I walk through it with her.
Yeah.
It did not work. Because now I think it's getting meatier. And if you'll see in the banner, I put my PayPal link just to see if it would work in a banner. We could add yours. And I was doing this more as practice too.
Right.
But it looks like that's not, like you can't supposedly the guy said that you should be able to click on that link where it says Renee Santos comedy. And it's a scrolling banner, but it's not a clickable link. And I thought it was.
And it's supposed to be?
It's supposed to be, so that like as we're talking, people could just click on either one of our links and donate if they wanted to. So
yeah,
but
maybe we should stop living it.
Oh my God, that's right. Let's end the broadcast.
Wait, we love everybody.
We love you guys.
We love everybody.